Hey everyone, we are at Gulf Coast Gator Farm and Airboat Cruise, and we're staying overnight here. We're doing our second harvest host. Talk much?
Yeah, we just signed up for Harvest Host, and so far it's pretty cool. Like, we're at a gator farm, which is so cool. Like, there's all sorts of baby gators and big gators. We're doing an airboat tour, and
yeah,
it's going to be awesome.
So many little gators.
Is the king of this swamp. We got 160 acres. 160 acres of swamp here. Where'd Princess go? She moved. All right, I see one of them. Where's the other one? Oh, that's her laying in front of Godzilla.
Yeah, I was gonna say
there's two gators on that bank. One's facing this way towards us, and a little 6-footer is laying sideways. There's also another little gator. I don't know if you can see it. Well, I don't think. Where is she? There was another little one laying, yeah, real hard to see. There's a grass bank over there. So, this area used to, before, let's say, I think about March, or maybe April, Godzilla came in and kicked Chops out. So if you were here before that, the gator that used to lay over there in the corner, that's Chops. And you can identify him because the tail's chopped. The tip of his tail's missing. It's been bitten off. Zilla came and kicked him out. And I hadn't seen Chops in a while. He came back like maybe June, and he hung around at the dock where we launched this boat. And because he knows the area, obviously, he's probably one of our gators from Katrina. He knows people feed him off the dock, the gator chops. But eventually he'll cross paths with Zilla, and Zilla kicked him out again. I haven't seen him since. Now there's lots of food out here for them to eat. There's all kind of turtles. Mostly red and yellow ear sliders. When it's real sunny, they sit on these stumps. They get about this big, sliders do. And then there's mud turtle, snakehead turtle, snapping turtle, and alligator snapping turtle. They get big as a stop sign. Gators eat turtles. Turtles are a big part of their diet, and if they're too big to swallow whole, because that's how they eat, they chomp down on them with their 80 teeth, crack the shell, shake it into smaller pieces. They swallow the bone, the fur, the feathers, the shell, everything. That's why it takes them 5 to 7 days to digest a meal. If they ate a big meal, like a big gator like that, tore off the leg of a hog maybe, or 2 legs, or eat half of like the hind quarter of a deer, you probably wouldn't eat for a month or 2.
Wow.
Because it would take them a long time to digest the bones and everything. There's also a lot of fish here. I have video on my phone sitting right here. This water is the only place that's deep, about 5 to 6 foot right here. And the gar, the big gar, like to hang out at the bridge here, they're 5 and 6 foot long. I'm not kidding, they're big. And they'll bite you just like a gator will. They got long snouts like a barracuda, and they have long rows of teeth. There's bluegill, brim, crappie, suckling, gar, alligator gar, catfish, and bass in these waters. We also have other wildlife like beavers and neutral rat, hogs, deer, all kind of waterfowl, different migratory birds. Those gators, they'll eat any of it. Whatever they could catch, they'll eat. They're very opportunistic hunters and eaters. Sometimes they'll eat even if they're not hungry, just because the opportunity, like if they were laying on the bank and a raccoon came up to wash his food, because that's what they do, they'll come to the water's edge and wash their food, and they don't see the gator, and he splashes the water right next to the gator. That gator's going to snap at it. Whether he eats it or not, I don't know, but he's going to snap at it. They just react just like that. They're lightning fast, and they got a bite force of 3,500 pounds per square inch on a big gator. Nothing bites harder than a big gator except a bigger gator. They bite you in the leg, it's going to snap it. I mean, if they spin around real fast, hit you with a tail slap, it'll break your legs. Their tails are solid muscle. All right, we're going to go up this canal. I call it the Golden Corral. It doesn't have a name, a river name, and people always ask, what's it called? So I call it the Golden Corral. It's a big buffet line for the gator. Guys, look up in the ceiling. See all these nests? Especially back here on this column. Over my head, back there. You see all them mud nests? Those are barn swallows. They make their nest high up on a bridge to raise their young free from predators. But at some point, the baby birds got to fly, and they push them out of the nest. The gators in the summer, when the water's warm, hang out under the bridge. Right? They're looking for shade because the water gets over 90 degrees. So they gobble up the baby barn swallows. If they hit the water, they gobble them up like chicken nuggets. I mean, it's fly or die. Sometimes when we come through here, there's people under the bridge, and I'm like, hey, buddy, there's a 13-foot gator in this canal. You just saw him. Godzilla. That big gator's going to come up down this canal at night on the hunt, right? And if you're sleeping under the darn bridge, what are you going to do if that thing crawls up next to you, right? Cuddle with him? All right, guys, usually we go back into those little ponds back there, but we can't because the water is so low. is Stump City back there. And the boat will get stuck. You get under 2 or 3 stumps at once and you get stuck. So they don't let us go back there when the water's this level. But when you checked in, they told you about the walking tour, right? This is where the walking tour starts.
Okay.
Right?
Gotcha.
Co-pilot, just pick out one of those gator trails and take everybody down that path and count the gators along the way. I'll go pick you up on the other side of the swamp. Let me know how many you count. They're out here, believe me. Most of them are little. You don't have to worry. They're 5-footers. They're scared of you. Now, walking's not a good idea in the swamp, but it's a great place back here in the corner for a female gator to lay her eggs, build a nest like I showed you. They can defend it, and they stay away from the main path where the big gator's going to be out there trolling around at night. So she'll come back here and go in the brush 10, 20 foot off the edge and dig a hole in the early summer, because they'll mate in the spring. They'll go dig a hole at the beginning of summer, about maybe a foot deep, and they'll drop anywhere from 10 to 50 eggs. Then they'll gather mud and grass, like these cut grasses, sawgrass, swamp grass, whatever. Mix it all up into a mound 2 to 3 feet high. And they'll lay there and guard those eggs from predators like coons and possums might steal the eggs, right? Now, gators are cold-blooded. They cannot incubate, but that mud with the grasses, it'll rot and decay the grasses, creating the heat necessary to maintain a nice even temperature to incubate. 86 degrees or less, and that nest will produce females. 87 and higher, it produces more males. So I always ask, what's Mother Nature trying to say? Huh? After 60 days, that's how long it takes to incubate the eggs. The babies hatch out and they're only 6 to 8 inches long. Little bitty critters. And everything out here wants to eat them. Hawks, eagles, blue heron, even fish like a largemouth bass or alligator gar. They get 6 foot long. They could easily eat a baby gator. Not to mention alligators. Big gators eat little gators, so they're cannibals. So that mama gator protects her babies. She'll gather them in her mouth a few at a time, take them to the water's edge, teach them to feed on frogs, minnows, and insects. They like crickets and things like that, water spiders, whatever they can find and catch. And that mama will stay with those babies for up to 2 years, 1.5 to 2 years. Now, baby gators grow rapidly at a rate of 1 foot per year. So, after about 2 years, that gator's 2.5, 3 foot long. Time to leave the nest, the mama kicks them out, and if they don't leave, that mama gator might turn and eat her own young. Damn, that's a tough childhood. Kids think they got it bad, right? Huh. You don't want to be born a baby gator. The survival rate is 1%. Only 1 in 100 makes it to become an adult alligator. Adult alligator, they're considered adults when they can start breeding at 6 years old and 6 to 7 foot long. What do you call a gator that's a big old bully, always pick a fight, start trouble?
Smart.
Say instigator. Huh? Or the gator trying to solve the murder mystery, hunting all the clues, trying to catch a killer.
Investigate.
Yeah, investigator, you catch it on. And let's say we're going to take a ride down the Everglades in a big 16-passenger van, and we're going to bring one of our gators with us to help us find the gators down there. We'll let him ride up front. He's going to tell us which way to turn, which way to go, how to get there. What do you call that gator?
Navigator.
Yeah. All right. One more dad joke. It's a little better, too. What do you call the gator that ate his wife? He was upset because she didn't cook him dinner, and he got mad and so hungry, he gobbled up mama. What do you call the gator that ate his wife? Gladiator.
Oh.
All right, we got to cruise. We're already 25 minutes in. We'll cruise to that other pond. moss is?
Yep.
It's hanging out of this tree over our heads on the left side, mainly. You see it everywhere, though. Spanish moss, you know, is an air plant related to the pineapple. It's actually in the bromeliad family. Some people think it's a parasite, but it's not. It gets its nutrients from the air. All its water and nutrients from the air. It just uses the trees for a skeleton to hang on. So, you know, they used it commercially, that Spanish moss, in place of cotton in the early 1900s. There was a cotton shortage because of the Great War, World War I. So, in its place, they used that moss for batting to stuff mattresses, couches, and seat cushions. And in 1915, Henry Ford had his first vehicle recall in a Model T Ford. Do you know why? Obviously, the moss. What reason?
Started to rot.
Chiggers.
Chiggers.
Gave everybody chiggers. That moss, when it hits the ground, the bugs get in it. Red bugs. Chiggers. Now, you see these palms, like on the left, you see that it looks like a palm? Those are saw palmetto. You ever heard of that? You can buy the pills in the drugstore. They used it medicinally, even in the hospitals and all to the 50s, but modern medicine kind of replaced it, drugs. But they extract stuff out of the berries to make a medicine, mostly for men's prostate. There is a hormonal treatment as well. It's extracted from the berries of that plant. And they grow wild here. They're natural here. Indians use the leaves off of it to weave fish baskets and fish traps to feed their families. Early settlers, as they made their way across the country, discovering moving west, they would use it for thatch roofing on top of like a log cabin or whatever. They grow wild here. People still use them ornamentally. I kind of like them. They do not grow a trunk. They only grow in a bush form, and they can get as large as 12 foot. There's a good example behind us, about a 10 or 12 foot saw palmetto.
Wow.
See how it doesn't have a trunk? It's just a bush. They grow everywhere here. Birds and squirrels eat the berries off it in the summer because it has like a flower in the spring, and then when it gets hot, that flower wilts away and dies, and the berries dry out and turn black, and the birds and squirrels will eat those berries.
And they have no prostate problems.
Yeah, I bet they don't, right? I'm gonna ride along the bank. Keep your eyes out for a little small red gator. I saw him on the last tour. So what did you call that? Little blue hair. Little blue hair. Cool, huh? I never seen one that's brown like that or red. Cool, huh? Let me get it tied up before you jump up. Don't want nobody falling down under this dock. Might be a gator under there. Little Joe, he used to say there's a gator under there. Sometimes he would. Daisy is an 8-foot female in that corner that I showed you. If you saw it, some of you probably didn't see it, but she hangs here eating gator chow. People feed her.
She's opportunistic.
She knows.
It's a free man.
So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, exit to the right. If not, exit to the left. Go try it.
Too cute. Too cute. You gonna hold him?
Sure.
Facing back to me. Alright. One hand under his legs, one hand on his tail. Keep his head higher than his tail. Just like that.
Yes. Hi.
Say my name's Little Bit. Little Bit? If I bite you, it's only going to hurt a little bit.
How old is he?
A year and a half.
Just a tiny guy.
Yes, he is.
How do you know it's a he?
You don't unless you stick your finger in that hole right there.
Okay.
And that's not my job. And he's too young anyway. Until they get bigger or until we sex them, they're all he's to me.
Okay.